Attention, all curious minds, innovators, and trendsetters. It's time to pause, lean in, and get ready for an extraordinary journey as we dive deep into the fascinating realms of life, technology, entertainment, and business. Let's explore, learn, and grow together. Brace yourselves, for the next thrilling episodes of Hipther Talks is about to take off. Counting down from 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And here we go.
Hi everyone, Zoltan here. We're back again with Hipther Talks, and we are sticking to the blockchain topic. And who else to highlight some of the recent developments he has been working on in the past months than Dr. Dean Rakic, Chief Scientist at Blockcontrol. Dean, nice to have you here.
The pleasure is all mine.
All right, so guys, actually, just 2 weeks ago, Dean was at our conference in Prague, and we planned this session because he said that he's going to change the world. And here we are. Let's hear what he has to say. So Dean it's not his first time on our podcast. He has been here 2 times already. Some of the most viewed and listened podcast episodes about blockchain were with Dean. So Dean, could you shed light on the inception of Blockcontrol and the IBDCP, or maybe you can explain what that is?
For sure, yes. The Blockcontrol is a company that exists a few years ago already on the market. We are not so present in the market and pushing our products because we were in the development phase, actually developing a new consensus protocol and a new blockchain based on the layer 0, means at the layer of the blockchain's infrastructures. And actually now is ready, is in a test net, and just I hope in a few days will be on the main net. So it's just a good occasion to present it to the Hipther community.
All right. So what current challenges in the blockchain technology are you aiming to address?
Yeah, there are so many challenges still, actually.
Yeah.
Because we live actually in a digital transformation era, and the transformation actually that happens and comes with the blockchain technology transform and make a profound impact to all society. And we are still connecting just the blockchain and the cryptocurrency. They are connected, indeed. But there is a slight difference between technology that gives an opportunity to all these technologies, whatever, to exist on top of the blockchain. And thus, still, there are challenges, like one of the most still challenge that appears to most of the existing blockchains and blockchain protocols is scalability, interoperability, security is still actually the blockchain trilemma that exists. But we extended actually the Blockcontrol through our research, and actually on a few of my patents actually in the last few years, I found that a possibility how to connect different worlds. From one side, centralized, and from another side, decentralized. We still have a gap between these two worlds. Normally, traditional centralized world, we know how that works with the most common things on a central point. But from another side, we open our eyes actually by implementing blockchains, but still there is no connection either between the blockchains itself, amongst them, and also together the gapping still existing in the interoperability level between centralized traditional systems and from another side decentralized or distributed all things that surrounding a blockchain technology. And the IBDCP actually stands for Interoperable Blockchain Data Custody Protocol.
That's what I was going to ask you to share what it means.
It's a robust from one abbreviation, but why? It is actually a novel protocol among existing blockchain protocols, no matter it's a we're talking about a decentralized and distributed at the same time, and actually and traditional centralized data structures that utilizes a data transfer or transactional data processing. We know already when we are mostly connected to the cryptocurrencies and the payment system and online transactions, there is no money, there is no physical money anymore. We are in a digital world. And actually, what we are transacting data. We are still on the data level. And actually, the IBDCP from Blockcontrol is a data custody protocol for transactional data processing. What it solves? It solves various data verification and storage problems that exist still, and ensures that the people or the users have their responsibility and control over their data, especially regarding the storage. We're still on the clouds, on the data silos, data centers, and so on and so on. But it's a still problem about an access from the user side and transparency, besides the security, traceability, and auditability. And we try to solve by resolving the interoperability issue by pushing all the things at a zero level, at the infrastructure level, where the data ingestion exists and happen, to address all these issues: scalability, interoperability, transparency, security, all of these challenges that still exist in some form in the blockchain. We're actually addressing the data transaction processing across all domains at a zero level, and by providing a data usage as a solution from the lowest level for uninterrupted transfer and seamless transfer and smooth interaction, eliminating these challenges and obstacles that arises when diverse entities actually or systems must collaborate. We need to collaborate in a digital world. And whilst we are retaining complete control and responsibility over, I like to say, because I'm from data science, originated from data sets, secure data exchange effectively addresses actually these challenges that we still have and still remains in the blockchain and need to be solved. We built actually a trust in the data sources, and thus we contribute to preventing a malicious content in data transaction processing by securing data. It's something that actually touch not only just the interoperability between or amongst different systems that it addresses. We addresses actually the challenges that in systems that perform store and analyze data through transaction processing without having a data at rest only to be manipulated somehow with the data, because in that stage data can be altered, changed. So many things can happen in these stages. And actually, the IBDCP protocol, the consensus protocol, and the Blockcontrol platform applies to traversal system into traditional centralized environments and parallel or seamless with decentralized blockchain or a distributed ledger technology-based systems. By this point, and introducing and implementing IBDCP, a consensus protocol based on, of course, on the blockchain postulates, into existing system, we facilitate unhindered communication and all other operations over data structures and data transactional and transforming process, both within the blockchain systems and centralized ones or traditional systems. Furthermore, the most significant advantage of the IBDCP is at the establishment of two-way communication between traditional, being centralized, and blockchain's decentralized system without affecting or altering existing structures they already have. That means we are not harming with a new protocol. Yes, the users have to choose this protocol. This is the best one, is solving everything, is with a high speed, there is no problem with scalability. That's true, but we are not harming. Any of existing systems can come with their data sources to the block control, and during the verification system, which is based on the post-quantum algorithms, do its verification and store their data in just milliseconds of creating one block. There is no bandwidth for transaction number in one block. As many as arrives can be operated and verified and pushed to the blocks and recorded to the blockchain. It's a pointing on one of the severest issue or a stumbling block in the blockchain technology, which closely linked actually to the blockchain systems, and they are which are scalable or non-scalable still at the market, which actually directly impacting the performance of our system. Therefore, we have a still problem. And integration with legacy systems from another side, with we still have a high energy consumption, a problem with safeguarding a personal data, sensitive and private information, how to be handled, and so on and so on. And we actually try to push not just a novel, but a fresh approach to a streamlined interoperability in the toward to overcome the all mentioned obstacles that already exist, because the IBDCP actually as a decentralized in its core consensus protocol, and I like to say one size fits all solution can solve most of the problems that existing protocols have already, regardless of the scope. And this actually implies to data integrity, credibility, and source verification across diverse domains with a high volume of transaction. There is no limitation on the bandwidth. I mentioned a diversity of domains with numerous transactions per unit or per unit of time, or per seconds or milliseconds. We are talking about milliseconds or nanoseconds at the IBDCP. It makes actually the existing problems that still exist communicating across diverse domains and across a subject with existing protocols is still impossible to be seamless and non-harmful. By implementing in any industry, there is no restrictions in which industry we can implement, because it's actually a data protocol. We are not talking just about the crypto parts of the blockchain. We're talking about overall data, and it enhances and facilitate transactional processing by enabling diverse entities to communicate and exchange data, even at the lowest level of metadata. That means, doesn't matter, it could be a sensor data from some industry, from some production line, where we know that the sensors already in our smartphones, we have a lot of sensors. There are a huge amount or vast amount of data they are ingesting in the milliseconds, and they're going through our digital lines and exchange between this. And the IBDCP is intended to resolve the fundamental issue of data collection and source verification by providing a transparency in the same time and auditability of all transaction data that exists. Because or I can say, since the origin of the information has been a challenge, the IBDCP ensures a complete interoperability and enhance the element of openness irrespective of the origin or type of data. There is no restriction what kind of data should be processed to the block control. And all that can be achieved by employing the verification system and storing centralized data on the blockchain, irrespective of the type of information, as I mentioned, and underlying the algorithmic, so to say, a framework that accomplishes all of these things. I mentioned it could be implemented in any data area, guaranteed the authenticity and integrity of information, regardless of the origin, nature, or magnitude of data exchanges. Another point which goes through all these lines is about security. It's still a huge problem. By implementing in any industry, any kind of data source, IBDCP consensus protocol, we can enhance a data security by incorporating still the methods of immutability and authenticity of the source data, irrespective of the transmission process, how the data could goes through all of this. Normally, the principles of security and immutability ensure the stability of all data entered to some system.
The data custodianship.
That's right, correct. And one more point is about what the protocols from IBDCP ensures. It's a non-restrictive communication with existing identity protocols. It ensures that the data owners is not alienated. Because it does not change the value or personal data on the user side. The protocol guarantees the authenticity, dependability, and immutability of the entity's original data in any domain of data encryption, such as, for instance, the compassionate data. The IBDCP also can retrieve information about the state of the user transactional data in their digital wallets when we are talking about that. We know that is not such a possible to the existing protocol that already deal with the cryptocurrencies and this decentralized finance world. Moreover, by implementing IBDCP and having the block control wallet, digital wallet, it is a all-in-one wallet, not only for the crypto transactions and the payment system. It could be any kind of data. So wallet will actually process all kind of transactions based on the digital form of data, no matter of the source. And by retrieving their digital wallet data, by connecting with trusted personal identity service providers and providing their identity, it is very possible. And we already tested that through the testnet. It's worked perfectly. It is so simple and could not have any possibility of errors from that side, because we know the KYC is already mandatory and the digital identity already exists in the all areas where we are using online data transactional processing. There's one more point about the transaction data. In the broader domain, it's about detection a change, because the change should be available to everyone to be known, to be detected actually from any kind of use. Any change, it's a comma, point, whatever. We know that changes that the cryptographic form in the encryption of the data in the blockchain, but we still have a blockchain separated on a different layers, on a few protocols, but between them, if there are still I can say, inside of the on one blockchain, still centralized on some way, because we are still bordered with a community that uses this. We know that there are some protocols that or platforms or tools actually that makes atomic swaps and exchange between different blockchains, but it's still not so smooth without user interaction. It should be in the background, done without any owner's facilitation or any empowering to make some decisions. It could be autonomous decision regarding its utilization and the participation from the user side. IBDCP actually gives that ability, and the owner of the information confidence through continuous monitoring that detects inconsistencies, anomalies, and all errors in the transaction process. And the issues in the border domain are still one more point about, we are talking about in the various industries about the sustainability.
Yeah.
The transaction processing requires consuming computing power, computer resources, which means on the energy. IBDCP actually use a very little computer power because the algorithm is optimized at the lowest level. It makes it faster to check each transaction, no matter with or what it is about or how much information it has in its data set. There is, from the user perspective, it could be just a smartphone or a laptop or a desktop computer. There is no need for a huge data centers, I don't know, empowering with farms of computing devices that have to mine it or whatever. That's just a few points about IBDCP protocols.
Yes, in regards to block control, you guys always have a specific focus on optimizing data transactions and
that's right.
Especially processing. And how does this influence the efficiency and scalability of the blockchain operations?
Yes. At a testnet, I can just give an example of our testnet that we tested with just 2 nodes. We have more than 30 nodes at the moment on a testnet, but just with the 2 nodes, we reach more than 50,000, actually 53,600 thousand transactions per second, and block creation less than 2 milliseconds. That means looking to all other transactional processors in this area as approximately about 70% of advancement that we reach just with the 2 testing nodes, but with the 30 nodes that goes, we have 1,000 in the testnet, 1,000 transactions from some IoT devices that comes in milliseconds, a bulk of transactions that are just verified and pushed to the block in milliseconds.
So it's in real time. So
yeah, that's really approximately. There is no existing actually real time.
Yeah, exactly.
It's somewhere near the real time.
All right. So yeah, you mentioned the 0 layer, which is very interesting in the context of blockchain architectures. So can you explain the rationale behind adopting 0 layer approach in block control? And how does it differ from the traditional blockchain layers? Because probably our listeners don't know what are the big differences between these layers.
We know we have layers in the blockchain from 0 up to the 5, 6 already. And actually, the all existing cryptocurrencies, most of the cryptocurrencies that are representing this blockchain technology to the mass production is from layer 1 and upwards, because we have at the layer 1 the Bitcoin and the Ethereum and few of them, and based on these protocols and this existing technology builds all other layers. That means we have to interact from upper layer to the layer 0 to be verified. Above all of them is still zero layer. We have already some blockchains that exist and laid in this area from the zero layer. That means at the infrastructure layer, where it is all, we have all hardware, software, whatever that we make, that the digital world makes possible actually. And there already built some infrastructure for interoperability, but it's still only on one vertical side amongst the blockchains, but it's not still successful because this existing protocols, we have private blockchains, public blockchains, we have a hybrid blockchains, consortia, and so on and so on. And it's still bordered, and going through them vertically, it's not so easy. But the solution for all of them relies on the layer zero, the infrastructure, because the data, at the metadata level in the datafication process remains still on the layer zero. We just use them and manipulate them through vertical layers, whatever they are doing in the transactional processing. When we solve this metadata at the level of ingestion, where the data actually comes from their source, directly from their source, not after some changes, we are catching them in the original state. That means if we secure them at the layer zero, at the infrastructure, the data will remain immutable and secure, no matter when we are processing them afterwards through upper layers, or if the data comes from the traditional world, because most of the blockchains that exist does not have a direct communication, a bridge to directly make a transaction on a data level with a traditional centralized institution, no matter if it is banks, fintechs, industries, healthcare, whatever, supply chains, whatever. It is not so easy. There are so many transformations need to be done. Then we push at the infrastructure layer, at a zero layer, and interoperability at that level. So all data that appears at that stage are seamless to be at the metadata through Blockcontrol datafication process that we built can be orchestrated at a zero layer. And actually it operates from zero layer, from the lowest level of the distributed ledger technology, I like to say, between traditional systems and decentralized or distributed blockchains. It serves at the layer zero as intermediary between conventional systems and those distributed decentralized by enabling on the metadata, on the datafication level, a seamless sharing and collaboration between different, I can say, organizations and industries, whoever have to be in a data processing. And it enables effortless collaboration and sharing between these organizations and the industries. It, on a metadata level and a datafication level, it simplifies and improves one of the most important point that most of others does not care, not in a practical world. It's about the client experience, which is actually the end users. We have to take care about the end users. They are the data owners, they are produced, and they have to manage their data. If we give them ability, although does immutability exists, but up to the point where the data comes to be encrypted and being such a kind of immutable, so many alterations can happen, no matter if it's in a data structure or a data content, which is the data structure could be somehow accepted, but the data content if we make alteration data content in the original information, there is now the same information afterwards. And all the operations actually goes to products, processing, operations, just to enhance and simplifies the client experience.
Okay, so there, if you search online, and you most probably know, there's a huge debate, an ongoing debate between private, public, and hybrid blockchain solutions. So from your perspective, how does Blockcontrol accommodate these setups, and what scenarios would one be preferred over the other? I think you're the best person to reply to this question.
For sure, probably I will try. Because there was so many discussions all over the scientific papers, books, conferences, meetups, whatever, industries. What about a private and the public? We know the private is some bordered community with some access. The public is little less secure, probably. We have so many challenges in the public, and we have also the hybrid solutions that can mix some kind of data. In some cases, the user, the personal information or identity information remains on some centralized still or a private part, and the transactional part, which actually encrypted, goes through some explorers and can be presented to the audience, and someone can go through. And but still remains, especially when we have a problem about money laundering. It's not so suitable for all of them to reach the exact data in this point. We are not building the Blockcontrol just one hybrid solution. It's an extended hybrid solution.
Okay.
Why? Because we connect both worlds at the same moment. And everything is immutable, secured from the data of existence, of the moment where the data exists, through all steps, and somehow, some way, transparent through a public poem of a distributed ledger. We mix all of them and push to the user side, that users can be effortless with having its transparency, data owning problem, no problem about owning their data, and decisions how to share and where to widespread all kinds of data.
All right, so the debate is still ongoing then for the
It's still ongoing. Yeah. Normally, I'm following some research and studies up to the end of 2030. The hybrid blockchains will step up a little bit, about 40 and some percentage more than from the existing point. The problem is still, it could be best if it is everything a public. But we have still traditional systems which is not so eager or so open to be transparent. We know that no matter the trials of some changes of regulation, putting some points, the compliance things, we know that we are struggling still on this area, and the struggle will remain. It could not be solved just with one paper from Brussels, from European Union, with one MiCA, or I agree with everything of that. I'm on that side, but we cannot still put all that public, because the whole industry should comes public. Then we can talk about all over public or a real blockchain technology. Then could be real distributed ledger technology with completely openness. But still, it's not possible. Therefore, with my research and my teams, I pushed a step forward into the interoperability to meet these two worlds at some point, and to give an ability. I would like to revolutionize that, but we'll see. The acceptance from the test net is a huge acceptance, and the interest is really high. But we'll see by implementing, because the Blockcontrol is not comes with the intention to deal with the cryptocurrencies just as a point of its work. The point is to push in all industries that without harming any existing process of the data production and data transaction, storing, whatever, we just give them ability to be possible from any moment or at any moment of time to share data without any challenges anymore.
All right. So as you mentioned, it
that's
is
a
good
kind of
yeah.
some extension of the hybrids solution that actually push up both of them, and public and the private together to meet at one point that I hope in some point of time I hope still will be all public, that could be transparent to anyone, no matter we cannot there is no need to see each person on their identity on the network, but that everything seamlessly goes through and to be transparent and to see some data and can follow from the user side, can be followed from the user side what actually happens. And that moment, I'm pretty sure that the money laundering and all these harmful things that we are having with the data nowadays should a little bit go to the lowest level, because there is, in that point, will be no need for some data manipulation as we have already on the market.
Right. So as you mentioned, it is applicable to multiple industries. There are several potential applications from e-government to healthcare and the metaverse as well. So where do you see the most immediate impact of block control and IBDCP in real life implementation? And maybe could you provide an example of a sector or project where you guys could maybe revolutionize the current practices?
There are already some so to say use cases that we tested and promoting already. The first one is, as you already mentioned, and I said first, it's not the first, just because my first area of research connects to the healthcare, because there we have still a hot potato about data and what to do with data. But
and data privacy.
Data privacy, for sure. Having that in mind, I would target it on the e-government, as it mentioned, and improvements of the identification systems, because it's a first step when we approach to any online service, whatever that could be. Either or e-commerce, just shopping carts or whatever, payment or sending a data, documents, whatever. And by improvement with the IBDCP in the identification system, it's just and step up with existing systems. We are not harming them. We just take them and give some improvements. Means we can improve a service delivery in public administration, education, financial services, social security, health, agriculture, gender, equality, and whatever. That means with IBDCP, we can facilitate state administration, including identification and authentication of, for instance, a unique taxpayer information. It's very, very, very useful, because a tax identification number, or TIN, is actually a disconnection from other government databases. And IBDCP facilitates all those third-party data access, and through interoperability, gives them at the same point that could be very easy exchange whatever the end user need. And through this workflow is actually some kind of auditing workflow, the all fraud detection solution that strengthens administrative functions is actually towards, because they are all in the point of increasing revenue by detecting frauds and auditing workflows. It's be much more easier, because it prevents a persistent apprehensions regarding the viability of interinstitutional collaboration in instances of, which is much more important point, of fragmentation or weakness within a government, ministries, departments, agencies, and whatever, because it enhances the legal and governing framework. It just can simply improve in the process of encompassing fiscal scenarios, for instance, or a data protection in this point, and a personal information by existing inequalities in access. That's the most important point. And by the e-government, as you mentioned, is actually the part of the identity. We are going to then to the e-government, to the ministries. It's about transparency and accountability by providing a immutable ledger on all transactions on the lowest level. It's normally, and it ensures that the government activities and decisions are recorded at tamper-proof, for instance, and the citizens can verify the authenticity and integrity of government data, which it is not possible yet, by promoting trust and accountability in public administration. Normally, secure identity management, reducing fraud and corruption, improved service delivery, because when we facilitate a seamless data sharing and collaboration among government agencies, it enables integrated and, so to say, a citizen-centric service delivery. That's the most point, because it's just the two highest level where we have. It enables, through all of this, to be created a digital currency, for instance. The national treasuries, a digital currency can be applied for that, as the it ensures that the financial transactions and reporting are transparent, and fiscal management is governed by the lowest level where the data are originated. And it's about enhancing about development and implementing of a risk management strategy to identify and to mitigate a potential financial risk. It allows investors to diversify their investments to reduce exposure to economic volatility, for instance. There are just a few of the points where can be applied and implemented normally. The next point could be a supply chain, yes, where we need a transparency and traceability, especially, for instance, in the chain of custody, in the bill of ladings, because transactions and data exchanges are recorded transparently and tamper-resistantly. From the supplier and product authentication, it verifies actually supplier and product authenticity through digital identity and unique identifiers stored on the IBDCP. It's about supply chain resilience. It reduces a risk of a single point of failure, making the supply chain more resilient to disruptions, such as natural disasters, geopolitical events, or cyber attacks that we have. Normally, faster transactions and settlements. What is besides the enhancing security, as we already described, it's about efficiency and cost savings, which is also important for all supply chains that we have, especially when we have serialization in our production lines with the medication, some other things, or whatever, because it's IBDCP streamline operations and reduce administrative costs associated with intermediaries and manual paperwork. That's about smart chains. It's about also smart cities or Internet of Things and smart living city, which is a new point, because it could be such a kind of a comprehensive solution that will be in the points of reducing datafication costs. As we in the smart city have a huge, vast amount of data. It's a big data actually that need to be operated and make analysis from them. It's deploying a derived intelligence, simplifies and improves the immaculate client experience, no matter if this is just experience or a product or some processes and operations. Much more important point when we are regarding the smart living cities and smart cities and the Internet of Things, it's the IBDCP actually gives the answer who owns all the data, and giving people ownership of their data, or industries or whoever. Transactions are secure and reliable, processed in a 24/7 in a real time, says real time, with the unlimited transaction bandwidth. Users control all their information and transactions. It gives an accurate tracking and analytics actually, although it is distributed to optimal recipients in the seconds, because it also gives an ability of data integrity and recovery in the real time. It's integrity verification actually in the point. It could be also electrification by energy traceability and transparency, optimization in the grid management, microgrid integration.
Basically everything. It's like
everything, robotics,
yes,
whatever. Especially when I mentioned the healthcare. In the healthcare, where we have still a hot potato about data integrity and all of these things, because it's still IBDCP supports traditional healthcare system or e-health, digital healthcare systems, but with helping with this blockchain on a IBDCP on a layer 0, it resolves a healthcare system fragmentation and promotes and gives actually the real patient-centric care by empowering patients to control and manage their healthcare data through decentralized identity solutions, privacy and autonomy, allow patients to manage their health and treatment decisions actively, to facilitate normally interoperability and data sharing among healthcare stakeholders such as providers, patients, insurers, and researchers, whatever, in the clinical research. It's actually in the hospital information exchange, networks can ensure where is the weakness point in the HIE, healthcare information exchange, and their networks can ensure a data integrity, auditability, and compliance with regulatory requirements, facilitating seamless data exchange and interoperability in its point, automating payments process, and also enforce reimbursements rules, reduces administrative costs. That means accelerating all this healthcare payment processing that we have. All of that ensuring transparency and fairness in reimbursements practices, so to say, in the healthcare. Normally, also the supply chain in the healthcare, which is a huge problem. It's by resolving the supply chain through Blockcontrol, also in the healthcare, is very easy to be solved.
And of course, resolving the interoperability, which is the key word of the year, I think.
Yes, the key point.
All right. So as the blockchain space evolves, and it has been evolving aggressively, so does the regulatory and compliance requirements. So how does Blockcontrol navigate these complexities of regulation and compliance, and especially when dealing with a cross-border data transaction or decentralized finance application? Let's also maybe talk about the gaming and gambling industry.
The regulation actually fragmenting the digital world, because we have regions, communities, governments, ministries, states, countries with different regulations, with different compliance points that need to be fulfilled through the data exchange, no matter which kind of data we have, although it's a decentralized finance or just industrial data, some documents, whatever, some postal delivery, whatever. We have such a big fragmentation in this point. That means if we have already a digital data in all areas, the regulatory could be simplified, because we are not dealing about a manual data delivery and we are not concerned anymore about a manpower to make an errors, to make a mistake, to make a fraud over the data, or to manipulate on any kind. By putting these two worlds, means centralized, traditional, and decentralized, at the same line, at the same point, in the same road, so to say, towards the future, the regulators can simplify their process, no matter if it is just regional or cross-bordered, whatever. That means we have an infrastructure that gives an ability to perform all of that. It's internet. It's a worldwide network. That means in a milliseconds, we have already a data exchange from one part of the globe to another part of the globe. That's not a problem. But the regulatories means the data need to be verified from some central points, from one country to another country. There are so many regulating points, especially when we're talking about 1T up to 3T of transaction days from one country to make a transfer to another country. We have already inside of the blockchains and the crypto world the seamless transaction that could be done in a few seconds, but it's still a fragmentation between them. If we're talking about micropayments, nano payments that comes from various industries, especially for instance in the gaming industry, we have a regulatory that struggle how these payments could be handled if for instance, if we have an online gaming platform from another country will pay for just buying 30 cents of some tools inside of the game, and the fees actually comes through different slices between those between the countries, between the regulatories, between the compliance, between the payment providers. So many steps actually between. So the regulatory with the IBDCP can be narrowed to the point where all of them can accomplish their regulatory on a simple way.
All right. So I think this was my last question to you. If you maybe would like to, because we talked about, we talked about the current challenges and what are the benefits of IBDCP. We talked about interoperability, zero layer data custodian,
yes,
the data transaction processing, private, public, and hybrid blockchains, the usability, and that's about it, right?
That's right. That's actually all that we need for the Web3 and Web4 that we are talking about. We are completely ready and giving actually the infrastructure for the Web3. All these things that, because the core problem in the Web3 is a digital identity. We are solving with this. It's scalability. We're solving. It's interoperability. We are solving transparency, auditability, traceability. It's everything already in one consensus protocol, and then it's completely ready for the Web3 and for the next generations of our web, whatever it could be. No matter if it is metaverse or traditional systems. The point is that traditional systems does not need to be, they can remain centralized and doing their job. We are not killing some staff and removing the existing jobs. There is not necessary. They have to do that. They have to perform that. But the all transactional processing should be in the manner of milliseconds available worldwide.
Yes, and thank you so much for your time, Dean.
Thank you.
This has been very informative, and first time we hear about Web4.
It's already on the preparing. No worry.
All right.
If it is not, the Blockcontrol will provide it.
All right. So this is the future is looking very interesting.
Yes.
Thank you so much, and thank you for our audience for sticking around. Dean, as always, you are more than welcome to jump in anytime you want on our podcast. And I guess we will see you in Tallinn in June.
For sure.
All right. There's 2 months till then, and there's lots of things
I'm
to.
ready for the Tallinn.
All right. Okay. So thank you, guys. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye. Bye. Have a nice day.
And that's a wrap for this section of Hipther Talks. Thank you for being a part of our journey today. Don't forget to tune in next week for more insights and discussions. Stay connected with us on Spotify, YouTube, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, and more. Until then, keep exploring and keep growing. We'll see you next time.